Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today is in celebration of me reaching 250 plus subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for all of the support. I've greatly appreciated, and this match is dedicated to all of you. This is the winner of the vote that I had on the community post. High rated game, got 48% of the votes, with pros versus Joes getting 30%, followed by low rated at 18 and other being at 3%. Thank you so much for all the participation, and if your choice did not win, don't fret. There's always another opportunity as those milestones keep getting hit and hit. The next milestone is going to be 350 subscribers, so again, look out for that. I'll be posting again another poll once I cross that threshold. So let's go ahead and introduce our players, starting with the team in the north. I almost said blue team, but there's only, well, I guess blue team, I guess. There's one player that's blue. In the northeast for team 1, starting with the rear guard air player of Amnesia. Maybe it's Amnesia. Going first land as a Seraphim in white. Down here on the beach slot, we have Foley going first land, second air in blue as a Seraphim. At the mid land slot, we have Butcher already on the move, going first, second, third, fourth, all day, everyday land in yellow again as an Aeon. And not last but not least, for team 1 here up in the northeast corner, we have a Cheeseberry going first and second air. Going to get that transport up right quick and trying to get to that island here in the southeast section of the map. Again, he is orange going cyber. Let's go ahead and introduce our players on team 2. Let's just start with the mid air land slot of Terrari going first, second, third. Oh no, he's going first land, second air. Surprising. Apologies for that. Again, he is purple going Aeon. To his west, we have the royal purple player of Insidious Noob going first land, second air as an Aeon. In the rearguard air slot for team 2, in the bottom, we have Alt F4 Uber Vader going first, second land, third air. He is red as an Aeon as well. And last but not least, for team 2, down here, red team, I guess as I will kind of refer them to as, we have Protect as an Aeon. As the crimson color, he's going first land, second air, all the way on the move for that center causeway fight that will happen here shortly. And for racial disparities, team 2, they are all Aeons, so no issues with transferring of technology or anything like that. When somebody dies, all the units are the same, all the structures are the same, so very easy adaptability there. Fortunately, they don't have access to a lot of the tools in the tool belt, in the toolbox. I'm saying toolbox. I think I'm saying toolbox. Down here in the southern portion of the map, team 1, however, have 2 Cybern, a Aeon, and a Seraphim, so they're missing the UEF technology, no Mavers, nothing of that kind of sort. The ratings for both of our teams, Foley is the highest rated player in the game at 2600, with the lowest rated player of Amnesia as a 1700. I tried to find a game with all 1800 and above, but it's very hard. There's usually like 1 or 2 players that are right under that cuff, so hopefully you will forgive me for that. We have transports out from the Cliff player. That was a firework in the distance. I don't know why fireworks are going off in the middle of the day. That's kind of weird. Going for that side island. That interceptor does track it down. Will the engineers land before the transport gets shot down? The engineers do land. We have, again, a transport out, bearing units somewhere. Looks like they're getting a very forward naval factories, trying to severely push back the front line of team 2 of apologies, Insidious Noob here on that Cliff player. We have some combat going down here in the middle, getting all of that mass scooped up into their coffers to construct weapons of mass destruction at some point during the match. Ferrari going for the Salems on this northern beachhead, and Butcher going after the small T3, T2 unit wrecks here in the middle causeway. Protect is here in the back line. I don't know why he's not scooping Max. Maybe he's distracted doing something else. pot shots being thrown at each other here for both of those middle causeway players. And I'm kind of surprised by the fact that the comm of Foley did not come and join his teammate here down in the middle section. That will pretty much give the middle causeway control over to Team 2 if Protect decides to... Oh, okay, he starts to do something with his comm. Okay, that was a little weird. He was just kind of standing there. Early units coming out from Butcher trying to assist him in this push to control the... Wow, I cannot speak English today. I do apologize. Control the center causeway here. Terrari getting a lot of that abuse. These tinfoil auroras, as Guile calls them, take about 2 shots to kill, and once he gets an upgrade on that comm, it'll be 1 shot. Aurora trying to dodge as best they can, but not really a whole lot of ways to dodge against the comm like that. The Cliff player out from Team 1 Cheese is able to get their side island as well. But both of the respective players whose islands should be in their hands fall into their hands. Very early frigate on the doorstep of Insidious Nude out from Foley due to the fact that that naval factory is very far forward and is sending another one to the side island to take out some forward factories over there as well. Very aggressive out from the highest rated player in the game, looking to get some early economic damage down. Very good move. We have, again, more comm action going down here in the middle causeway. We have a bomber out from Foley as well, trying to just do some early harass against Protect. Ferrari dropping into the yellow. A little over half of his hit points left. Some interceptors come over and some anti-air over here and take out that bomber. Excuse me, my words escape me. Wall sections being erected to try to cut off any flanking maneuvers or even potential run-bys over here on this southern little ridge line. We have a transport out from Foley as well, bearing units all the way to... I don't know where he's going. The transport is severely damaged, going all the way after... And there's nothing really here. Maybe he's trying to establish a forward land base. It's very far forward. That's very aggressive. Unfortunately for him, there is a couple land factories being built here a little bit to the north. That will probably not amount to a whole lot. Butcher making a comment that there's going to be drops here at some point with this T2 air factory and transport that has just been constructed. Team 2 has control of the center causeway. Butcher is starting to, again, establish his battle lines, making sure that he builds those walls up to help pin down enemy movements and just try to mess with the pathing of those units. And not a whole lot of action going down here in the southern pond. Just kind of some build up, air units flying around, but not really a whole lot going on. There's a drop again, like was mentioned earlier, from Butcher. Interceptors come in to do their job as intercept, and that transport is going to get shot down. Going to try to drop units. Oh, it doesn't make it onto land soon enough, and that is going to be a crash. Unfortunate for the comm and player of Terrari, but he will be able to get that reclaim, so it's not a total loss. It's still definitely a hard break. That drop out from Foley, mounting not to a whole lot. A couple factories are taken offline as a result, but those are probably reclaimed. As just a small distraction, we did get a mechs killed by a couple of those frigates. Another mechs goes down against Insidious Noobs. So it's definitely some economic blowback, some economic damage. The player of Alt F4 is reaching that 100 plus mass generated per second. Wow, my brain is taking a second to work. I do apologize. Still, that main factory in the middle of that, it's like an island in the middle of that water. Just that one factory just hanging out over there, producing some frigates, it looks like. But those frigates out from Foley as well are doing lots of annoying damage to the frontline production yards of Insidious. And they are probably going to be able to take out this factory. Frigate does come online for Noob as well. However, they're now going to prioritize that frigate. Is it going to be a kill? Yes, and those frigates stay alive. We have some of these Aurora come in to try to use their long-range guns, but looks like they're going to be able to kill that factory. That's going to be a setback for a noob here in the northern pond. More movement out from the lift player of Cheese here in the southern pond. Just kind of some spread out maneuvers, trying to get an idea of where the enemy units are. He has one factory online that's not really doing anything. It's on a halt order. Same with the other one. I don't really know what that's about. He might have an eco mod or something. He's not doing anything. That's kind of weird. Not really any idea going on with him. Lots of walls being drawn up to, again, confuse the pathing of the enemy units out from Terrari. But Terrari establishing a forward operating base, gets Oblivion turret and TMD. Very good to see that. Protecting his radar installation. Would like to see that up to tier 2 just so that he can get a wider range of what's nearby. But he will see enemy forces moving along that causeway before they get to him. Another radar over here as well, just to get some better vision, which again is always a good idea. We have T3 being achieved for both of the air players at about the 11-minute mark, about the same amount of time, though both teams will know what the other team is going to be up to. There's an ASF out from Alt F4 as well. Probably going to mop up the rest of these interceptors out from Chief. There are ASFs on an intercept course for that one lonely ASF, so it's going to be a 3v1 situation, and that ASF is going to die, unfortunately for him. Looks like they're going after... Looks like there was a transport out to maybe save the comm, or even take out the comm. It looks like of Insidious Noob. He was able to drop before that transport was taken out. Getting down some T2 torpedo launchers. Bomb coming in overhead. Try to delay that construction, but one bomber isn't going to amount to a whole lot. Would like to see some flak or even just T1 anti-air just to take out that bomber. Protect, making a comment to his teammate. Nice comm drop. He's going to get in the water. I mean, that's kind of a risky move because Balder could come out and just build a bunch of torpedoes and kill him right away, which is why Noob is building those torpedo launchers just to protect himself. Okay, gets a couple T1 anti-air turrets underway, and those T2 launchers go and just shred the hit points off of that frigate. Again, those installations aren't super powerful, but given enough time, they will whittle down even the strongest of targets. He isn't a Cyberman, so he doesn't have access to the T3 torpedo ambushing systems of the Harms. But again, something's better than nothing. Looks like we had a run by on the cards here in the middle. Apologies for missing it. A couple blazes get by. They could have gone around the edge of the water. And they are going to be able to, looks like, take out maybe a T2 extract. No, they won't even take out a T2 extract. They take out one over here. But that's really about it. Folly's saying drop you. Something about over there. I don't know what that's about. Frigates in the bay from Folly as well, just kind of doing patrol maneuvers out there. And unfortunately for Folly in the water game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factories go down here around his comm. And they're going to be producing frigates all day, every day, due to the fact that he's now lost his front production yards over here on his main island and over here on the beach side of the map. Engineers come out to maybe build some of those torpedo launchers, but that's not going to get anywhere for him. Looks like Cheese making a comment, time to go cruiser spam. He gets a frigate all the way into the back line, but it is going to die. Not really amount to a whole lot. Unfortunately, it would have probably been an idea to just keep that in the back line. Surprised I don't see T2 on the cards for any of our naval players as of yet. We have any... No, not yet. We are about 14 minutes, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a T2 factory come online at some point, or at least be focused on that upgrade. But yeah, I don't see anything so far. Might have other things on the minds of our players. Lots of mobile missile launchers being used to try to take out this fire base. But these volcanoes, again, the best tactical missile defense in the game. And then being able to distract a lot of these incoming missiles and make them null and void here. Terrari leaves and then comes back. Looks like probably to build maybe another TMD. Yep, building another TMD right as I say it. As more missile launchers are being built by the comm of Butcher here. He's actually on a T3 upgrade. We're trying to get a little beefier here in the middle causeway. Like Alt F4 sharing some units. And looks like a bunch of land factories have been spammed up to try to produce engineers to help in the water. The naval game here in the northern pond from Butcher. Foley's definitely going to appreciate that extra... Wow. Again, extra fleet, extra units out there on the northern side. Insidious Noob very far forward on some anti-air turrets. Not really going to amount to a whole lot with all these frigates inbound. He's trying to reclaim one of the frigates, it looks like, but decides that's probably not a good idea. He's sub 10,000 hit points. It's not looking good for him. He sends all of his frigates out to try to assist, but he needs to get back to his little forward operating base. He tries to spam up some T1 anti-air turrets. There are some torpedo bombers in overhead, but all of this damage is going to amount to pretty much a kill, it looks like, unless he gets further back very quick. Where is the air support from his air player? Insidious Noob is dropping into the red. Sub 2,000 hit points. Is he going to die? There's another torpedo bomber launching its torpedoes. Sub 1,000 hit points, and that is a kill on the comm of Insidious Noob, bringing this to a 4v3 in favor of the northern team of Team 1. Again, a very risky play, and unfortunately, had he stayed in his main base, that would have been a far better play. ASFs are far too late. They do take out the rest of the ASFs from Amnesia, but again, too little, too late. And unfortunately, that is a kill for Team 1. Team 1's definitely going to breathe a sigh of relief, especially for Foley. And if they coordinate their attacks on this northern pond, they'll probably run over the now land and navy player of Terrari. Naval build up here in the southern pond. Lines of frigates for cheese, while Protect is going for just a formation style. Does have a destroyer in the mix as well. Decides that this is enough to start attacking his opponent here in the water. And since these frigates are grouping up, good tactical move there, trying to get the amount of DPS kind of concentrated so no one gets, divvied up and all alone, overrun individually on one side of the flank or the other. Base war is pretty much still going down here in the central causeway. The shield did go down for a brief second, but more and more of these volcanoes, more and more of these PD come online. He's just going to PD creep. The comm of Butcher has retreated a little bit, building a very far forward T3 power gen. A little bit of a risky play, considering that some bombers could come overhead and just take that out very quickly. But he needs that power. Probably starting to build T3 units here shortly. T1 artillery coming to try to take out these missile launchers, or at least drive them back at least. And they have done that. And that's going to allow Terrari here in the middle to put another shield up and just push that front line even further and further closer to the main base of Butcher. The fleet out from Protect here in the southern pond has pretty much made their way all the way almost to the front door of that side island here in the southern pond. We are seeing some cruisers starting to appear, and as well as a destroyer as well. The T2 Navy has obviously been achieved for Cheese here in the southern pond. T2 Navy still hasn't been achieved for Folly in the northern pond, and it is almost 20 minutes on the card, so kind of a little weird, especially because his teammate of Butcher has gone T2 and is going for, looks like those are destroyers and then a cruiser. I think that's what they are. Oh, apologies for that. Looks like up. Looks like the Omni is gonna start being upgraded to in here. What's nice about the Aeon Omni is that you can really tell just by the design what tech it's at, because one ball is tier 1, 2 balls are tier 2, and 3 balls are tier 3 Omni. And very visual design there by the developers of the original game, and of course the continued developers of FAF, of course. We have some gunships out from the air player of Alt F4 trying to just halt any more aggression out from Folly here in the northern pond. T2 has now been achieved for Terrari and is going for these destroyers. Very good move, considering now we have some of these Asylum mobile shields, providing some much needed additional hit points for these Aeon forces. And it's pretty much frigates out from Folly as of right now. A drop of a lot of E1 artillery is on the way. Looks like it's going for that. Oh, nope, it's falling short. It's probably waiting a little bit. Where does it go now? Does it just sit there? Gonna sit there for a minute. We do have a push out here from Terraria here in the middle causeway, taking out these forward missile launchers. And they're not really going to survive very long. The range on these Aurora are very impressive. Would have liked to see another shield built just to cover this under the Asylum and these TMD, but that won't matter a whole lot because T2 destroyers come in from Cheese. They're going to be able to take out this forward operating base. That T2 radar is going to go down, and fully Control K's looks like he's leaving the game. Maybe he had to go for something. Read OKK. No, reading isn't my strong suit. Hey, I can't T2. I don't know what that was about. That is the highest player in the game. Exits the game for unknown reasons, at least reasons I haven't seen in chat. Trying to scroll back to see if I see anything. I don't notice anything. Oh, Folly said his game crashed. Oh, that's super disappointing. Oh, Jesus, like, man, that is definitely a loss for Team 1, and that ties it up to a 3v3 players left for both teams here in this game. So about 21 minutes or so. It's definitely a disappointment, but that now gives control of the Navy for this northern pond to Butcher. So pretty much like his mirror for the main causeway. It is Terrari versus Butcher on this like northwestern quadrant of the map. ASF construction in full swing here in the back for both of our air players. Amnesia on about 69 of those ASFs, while Terrari for Alt F4. What is that yellow line up there? Weird. I don't know what that yellow line's about. Ready for recall? Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Anyway, answer down in the comments what that yellow line across my screen was. That was really weird. Anyway, I was distracted by that. Do apologize. 63, so a little bit behind the curve for the ASF game, but nothing that couldn't be fixed by a couple nice turns for aircraft combat. Decent sized army out here for for Protect here in the southern pond. Group of destroyers kind of isolated by themselves, and these frigates know it, and they are going full bore into those destroyers. A decent amount of destroyers appear again in this fleet. It's kind of hard to see them because it's all red, and it's just kind of like the symbols are very similar and whatnot. A lot of those destroyers get picked off by their enemy destroyers, and that's going to leave this friggin' army very much defensive in terms of DPS. There's a cruiser in the mix, but for DPS, that's not going to matter a whole lot. Similar thing going to happen here in the north. Looks like there's some posturing going on. The silence being used to help shield these incoming fire from these destroyers. It is very weird to see an all Aeon team on the SETON'S. It's usually you have, you know, a UEF or a Cybern or something else. But maybe we'll see a Paragon. Maybe we'll see a lot of Colossus. Who knows? Maybe they'll just do the walk across the water kind of thing. But we will have to continue to watch to see how the match plays out. The loss of Folly is definitely a hard loss for Team 1 to face. Highest rated player, 2,600. A huge amount of rating to just end up losing. But, you know, stuff happens and games crash, and there's nothing really you can do about it. All you can do is just keep fighting on. Looks like, again, Salem production still being prioritized here for this island expansion down here in the southeastern pond. All of the factories have been upgraded to T2 to help assist. Torpedo bomber spam starting to appear and being used en masse from the air player of Amnesia, and that has provoked the ASF from Alt F4 to move in. Bro, air, your 2K. Oh, complaining. Looks like Protect complaining about air over his navy. But to his credit, despite all of the incoming torpedo bomber, Protect is making a lot of inroads and is going to go after a decent amount of this build power and these factories. So might shut out the player of Cheese from this southern pond here about, sub 30 minutes. There is a Omen class battleship in tow, escorted by a couple of frigates and destroyers. Would like to see some cruisers in the mix for protect that would kind of help assist with a little bit of this incoming damage from those torpedo bombers, but he's going for a mass, just, spear, no shield, just going straight into the heart of his opponent. Those 3 factories go down on that beachhead over there, and they now turn their sights onto that HQ of Cheese. That Omen class is going to make a huge amount of hardship come upon Cheese here in this eastern side of the map. Destroyer is also going to assist with lots and lots of destruction. Shot coming out from that. Omen takes out the T2 headquarters, and that is going to prevent any further construction of T2 units for that factory. Looks like Protect is going after the factories, ensuring that no more engineers are brought to bear against him, given the fact that they're going to try to prioritize healing that factory as much as they can. On the northern side of things, looks like Terrari has moved in to assist the bombardment of this forward operating base here in the middle. We do have a Soothsayer. That's going to be a very nice target if Terrari can get that. The amount of intel that they get from that is immense. You can see the huge section of the map that he just can see all the time. Does require a decent amount of power to run, but that the intel you gain from it is definitely worth the price. That Omen does go down to the overwhelming presence of these torpedo bombers. Where is the air from Alta 4? And it looks like it was wiped out by the enemy ASFs from Messiah. So that's definitely a hard break for Team 2 to face. So Team 1 making some inroads here against the Navy. Does get some setbacks here in the southern pond, but nothing that can't be recovered, and that just provides a lot of torpedo bombers to just go into the back line and take out that T3 headquarters. A anti-aircraft carrier, the aircraft carrier are now being prioritized for their anti-air capabilities, and of course building, aircraft mobile. Oh my goodness, how many of those torpedo bombers are there? 52 out from Amnesia and 14. So about 70 or so torpedo bombers. Oh, whoopsies. Apologies for that. I'm going to take out the rest of that force. There's another Omen that has appeared, but that's just going to be now a mass dump pretty much. Trying to take out the resourcing options on the island, but there's just too many engineers and too many torpedo bombers. It's going to hurt. Ras going down for Cheese as well, getting some more resourcing options available to him. Imagine losing to a random player. Oh, that's some salt going down for Protect. Probably very annoyed that his Navy has been decimated. Then why do you send your Omen with no support if you know it's just going to get annihilated by all of those torpedo bombers? Not really a good move out from Protect. I know, I get it. He's, frustrated. I can imagine how he feels. But you don't just send a unit that valuable to just die for no. And more posturing going down here in the northern pond. Not really a whole lot of aggression. We have a huge fleet of these destroyers out from Terrari, just not even caring about frigates, just going, no, destroyers are better. And gets an Omen class battleship of his own. E3 production is in full swing. Also gets some aircraft carriers as well for the anti-air. So very good use of the different naval units for him. And look, that Omen class just gets annihilated. Oh, it's just very disappointing. Because a nuke even is worth an entire pond. I don't know what that's talking about, but I digress. Anyways, so let's see what's going on here in the back line for Team 1. Any spicy plays, any artillery, any experimentals, anything of the sort. Massive mass fab farms going down for the comm of Butcher. Upgrade as almost completed for Cheese. Is there anything going down here? There is an SMD, and it's almost loaded here in this middle causeway. That will definitely protect against some nukes. Does that indicate that Team 2 has a nuke launcher of some sorts? No, I don't see one from any of them, honestly. But at 30 minutes, you should probably have an SMD. And it looks like Terrari is following that suit, hiding his comm in the little pond there, just making sure he doesn't get spotted by some roaming units, whether that be ASF or air scouts. But some Omen class do appear, or actually not Omen class, some Thums appear for the the Aeon and Seraphim player now of Butcher. Those have those onboard nukes, very effective. Again, expensive to make, but there is a nuke that has been launched. I missed it. It was kind of surrounded by all of those auxiliary aircraft T3 factories. I can't speak today. And where is it going? Amnesty saying GG. Where is it going? It looks like it's going for the main base of Cheese. He does not have an SMD. Is that going to skate by the range on that SMD in the middle? Where is that? Oh, it's right here. It's up here. Yep, it's going to completely avoid it. And that is going to... Looks like it's going to be a kill onto Cheese if that bomb or that nuke lands close enough. No, it drops a little short. Takes out a huge host of hives. A T3 battleship comes online. Takes out all of that build power. Oh, it's gotta hurt. Very pretty explosion, though, and that T3 headquarters does stay online. There are now 3 battleships on the front line here for Cheese. That's gonna hurt. Was able to take out 3 of the 4 core mass as well, so definitely a blow to his eco, and that's dropped him to about 400 mass a second. I mean, that's not it's a decent amount of mass, but it is a huge drop in that as well. Huge Navy presence now being here pretty much on the doorstep of Cheese in the Southern Pond. Ford factories producing a bunch of these engineers and just trying to reclaim as much as they can, force back the front lines. Aircraft carriers being used just as mobile anti-air and bullet sponges at this point. Would like to see some more of those Omen classes appear. But again, it's a slow but surely, strangulation here in the Southern Pond against Cheese. Navy fight does occur, and looks like all of these battleships open fire. There's a huge host of battleships for his opponent of Terrari in the Northern Pond, and this is not really looking good for Team 1 as of right now. Almost both of those ponds are surely going to fall at some point. They need a comeback, and they need it now. There are a decent amount of battleships on the cards, though. But with the assistance of all of these frigates and destroyers just whittling down the auxiliary and support forces, not really going to matter a whole lot. And especially in the Southern Pond with those frigates constantly getting into the back line, destroyers as well, dealing all sorts of damage to the factories, to the build power, to anything to slow down the production of those battleships. Definitely going to hurt. That nuke launcher did not help. Going for an upgrade as well. Apologies for that. If you heard my cough, I didn't want to cough into the mic. Omni again here in the middle of the map, and they can see a whole lot of stuff with that. Again, that yellow bar. Don't know what that's about. Ready to recall. Don't really know what that's about. The ready to recall is just a way to leave the match kind of thing without dying, but I don't know what that yellow bar was up there for. Again, answers down in the comments if you know what that is. And if you've been enjoying the cast so far, please like and comment down below. And again, if you haven't subscribed, I greatly appreciate it. I try to do a FAV cast every single day, so I will definitely, be on the lookout for those if you enjoy my content and other content from FAV casters and YouTubers. Let's go ahead and check out that Northern Pond once again. That push out from Terrari just inching its way closer and closer to the main production yards. Battleships being spammed up. Asylums being used as shields to help protect those battleships. Very good move considering the fact that the Aeon don't have access to the bulwark ships. The UAF would come in handy right about now is probably what Butcher is thinking, especially for those bulwark shield boats. And Alt F4 protecting, well, now he's moving it, but was protecting the fleet from from any incoming torpedo bombers, and he has a huge flight of those in the back line. About 83 of them that could probably one pass a one of those battleships, but there is a decent amount of AA in the area now, so they're not going to do a whole lot. And looks like he was able to partition some of those ASFs from Alt F4 and go after the bombers, but the huge host of ASFs from Amnesty, look at that, 320 versus Alt F4's 268, so a decent difference in the air game. And he even looks like Amnesty gave some of those ASFs do cheese to help micromanage that air fight more effectively. Torpedo bombers being used en masse to just hold back the front lines of their opponent here in the water from Terrari. Let's check back on that nuke launcher. It does have a nuke in the clip. Wouldn't be surprised to see that launched here pretty quick. Worst thing is to have a nuke launcher destroyed before you launch the nuke. Very disappointing and disheartening. Comm of Protect not in the water, surprisingly, and on land, just sitting next to his little engineer buddy. But we'll look to see him go in the water just to hide from any enemy biplanes and other aircraft. 13 aircrafts. Looks like... I don't know what that's about. Where is this nuke headed? Made a comment about it earlier. Looks like it is going this way. Going to the main production yards of Butcher in the northern pond. It's going to hit the T3 factory and kill it for sure, as well as these auxiliary T3 factories. You will still have access to the Aeon headquarters. With the Seraph 1 building, those battleships will definitely fall, be annihilated. Lots of torpedo bombers being spammed up for Terrari as well, thinking, oh, I can do that as well. It's not a big deal. Look at all of that reclaim in the water already. Look at it all. Oh, almost about 60,000+ reclaim just in that water. Nuke lands, of course. Nuke goes off. Boom. Takes out all of those NGs. Takes out all of those factories. Definitely going to use Torps Terrari. Well, he does. They're all right there. Maybe Insidious Noob is making a comment, now is the time to use it kind of thing. I'd probably go after the battleships, of course, whittle down the DPS from them, and prevent any bombs, or sorry, and prevent any nukes from being built up in their ships. Their holes, in the holes. I think that's how you would say that. At the 35-minute mark so far, somebody's got to be thinking about how to end this game, whether that be Scathis, whether that be Paragon, whether that be Yolana Oz, just something, because you got to have that in mind as you play the game, thinking, okay, game's not really going my way right now, especially because Team 1's kind of being hemmed into that corner. They're operating at about 40% of the map, well, even 35%, and Team 2 operating about, again, the 60% of the map. Biplane efforts coming out from Amnesty, making sure they can get a good readout on what their enemies are doing. Air grids being priority number 1 for Alt F4. He is getting some mass fab farms under construction as well. Don't really see any big plays coming out from Ferrari in terms of game enders. He has a quantum gateway, so we're going to get those RASCOMs all built up nice and quick. There is a comeback mounting for the northern pond for Butcher, starting to push back the front lines of Terrari. A bunch of these asylums could be used to help shield a lot of this incoming fire, but they're just hanging down here. Looks like they are being built from nearby factories, though. They're being pumped out super quickly, and it looks like that forward operating base from a long time ago is being wiped out by those arms, and there's nothing to stop this push. Looks like there are some Oblivions being spammed up, but they're not going to be built in time to really make a lot of difference. But I do like the fact that engineers at all distances are building Oblivions just to prevent any, constant fire. Bad player. Whoa, Protect just control K's all of his stuff? What is up with that? Wow, he is very salty. Look at that. Just kills all of his units, all of his structures. Oh, I can't play with an idiot on air. You just lost air huge. Yeah, it looks like the air game has now been pretty much won now for Amnesty. There's not a lot of ASFs left. So even with the loss of their biggest player, their highest rated player on Team 1, Team 2's one of their players just says, I'm done, see ya, bye. That's very disappointing. I don't like it when even if a player, even if it's 2,000 rated, everybody makes mistakes and misplays and all that, misclicks, all that. We even saw that a couple casts ago where someone just runs into the enemy army and just dies and goes, oh, I misclicked. Like that stuff happens all the time, and it is disappointing when players just, all they're forcing leave and cry about, cry on net lobbying. I see why Foley has you on foe list. Yeah, that's definitely it's just some salt being thrown back and forth. It's fun to watch, but just it's just very disappointing. And that gives the entire Southern Pond to Team 1, and now it's a 3v2 in favor of Team 1 now. So again, very disappointing. Lots of salt. Good foe yourself. Just again, just more and more salt. Very unnecessary, honestly. I mean, I do understand. It's very annoying, but you were winning Navy. You weren't winning land, your air, but I mean, you're winning something. Charlie, like, can you please not torp me? Please do something else. Oh, just all of that incoming damage. Those battleships just getting annihilated. Look at one. Couple. That one's probably gonna fall. That one's gonna fall. That one's gonna fall. 2, 3. It's all gonna die. ASF's coming over here to try to whittle out a lot of that incoming damage from those torps. Huge effort from Terrari to build all of the the aircraft carriers he can for their incredible anti-air capabilities, just whittling all of those torpedo bombers down. And honestly, he has the good counter to that. They are mobile. He can build his own ASFs from them, can build his own torps from them, and just has also flak in the area as well. So just massive efforts in the water to get a lot of the anti-air in that air situation pretty much null and void, because that's a huge advantage for Team 1, and if they can't use that advantage in this northern pond where they need it for sure, they're going to have to come up with some other strategy, prioritize more experimental battleships like these Tempests, and both players in the northern pond have them, and it looks like the comm of Terrari is going to focus them down as much as he can. Already has 2 on station, and the third one's been completed very quickly, and the fourth one's just going underway right now. Looks like there was an experimental built somewhere by Cheese. I don't know where. I don't see the little circle that tells me that there's an experimental SMD on the side island. Very good choice, especially because he now owns the southern pond. Another experimental built for Butcher. Oh, it's right here. It's the Soul Ripper. There it is. It was just flying away. Honestly, it's not the best play considering the fact that there's a lot of anti-air, especially all this flak. Like, yeah, you'll probably be able to take out maybe a battleship or 2, but not the best use of a mass in terms of this northern pond. Maybe send this bug down here to the south and take out a couple of the T3 factories. That would have been a better use, honestly. You can see all of this torpedo bombers just sitting, waiting to be used. And this bug just trying to take out any incoming forces, but if it gets any closer, those anti-air cannons will open up, and they started to, and they're going to start ripping into that Soul Ripper. And look at it, all that hit points just shedding on that experimental. Team 1's got to rethink its strategy with air because they cannot use it in this northern pond. Oh, look at it. It's already down almost half of its hit points already. I do apologize if I'm missing other things elsewhere. It's just the use of the Soul Ripper is definitely not the most effective. And it drops into the red. It does make it away, but definitely a waste in terms of usage for that northern pond. Battleships lining the coastline, just bombarding enemy emplacements and factories. Looks like that run-by of arms didn't really amount to a whole lot. They have taken out the core mass from Terrari's main original base, I guess. He has more infrastructure here in the back line because it's protected. Another nuke out from that nuke launcher, but I saw something over here I want to check out first. A Paragon has been started, and everyone knows my position on, especially, Ilana Osses, Mavers, T3 Arty. Build some shields first. I know you don't want to have people notice the shields are built, but it's a Paragon, and that thing goes nuclear when it explodes when it's built. So shields are your best friend. Need them sooner rather than later. That's infinite resources we're talking about. Might as well put some resources into shielding the infinite resource generator. That nuke flies over to the side island. Is that nuke anti-nuke loaded? It is not. So this nuke is going to land. Very disappointing for Cheeseberry in Southern Pond. Boom. Takes out the land factories and takes out all but one of the Mechs in the island. Pretty much everything is gone. There are some of these engineers that have survived, they'll be able to build up some infrastructure back there here real quick. Looks like Terrari is fighting back in the southern pond as well, using these blazes with their floaty nonsense to try to take out these battleships, these galaxy classes. There are a lot of them on this southern pond. How many of them in total? We have 12 available to achieve. They can deal lots and lots. That's just a huge buildup of aircraft carriers. I think that's the most I've seen in a SETON'S game in a while. Go away, stupid bar. We also have how many of these Tempests? 4 Tempests are available to him. We also have incoming Tempest from his opponent here in the water as well. We have 2. A third one is almost completed. The fourth one is about 25% over completed. We have some Rascoms appearing in the water going after that reclaim. Gotta have reclaim. That's one of the most important things in this game, especially for the water. With all of those naval battles going on. Again, I cannot speak today. I do apologize. But it doesn't look like a whole lot of action going down here in the middle causeway. Another band of Harbingers building up, trying to get another possible run-by on the cards. All of these Oblivion turrets that have been built pretty much going to nullify those harms. Harbs, not harm. And it looks like Terrari has taken my advice and done a decent amount of shields. That generator is a little bit... I don't remember the range on those... generator explosions. They don't really far. But not that far away, but also not too close. I don't like the engineers surrounding that one P-gen though. But I mean, it's better than having the P-gen sit next to the Paragon, that's for sure. Hover spam. All of the factories going down for Terrari here on this eastern flank. They've now been hemmed in the water. They already have no access to the southern pond now. So it's pretty much Team 1 has just completely flipped this around with the departure and just Control K of everything out from Protect. If you're going to leave the game, that's one thing. Like, I understand that. You're kind of frustrated. You're done with the match. Go play a different match or a different game or whatever. Don't Control K all your stuff, especially because it's a full share game. If it was a share until death, it doesn't matter. But that's just not a good move, honestly. It doesn't look good. Strats being built up in the back line for Amnesia. Looks like they might be... Do they know of the Paragon's existence is the thing. They do know, and they have an eye on it as well. That Paragon is almost completed. They're like, we got to get that thing killed right quick, or this is going to be a bad day for us. Do they have any answer? They do, from Cheese, and it is a Gathis. Lots of hives assisting that. Going to get that built up real quick. They need some sort of way to hit back against that Paragon, because even though it's not offensive itself, it can produce a lot of offensive things very quickly. Those massive cannons on those Tempests doing lots and lots of damage to those naval units out from Butcher here in the northern pond, just trying to get a nice little panoramic view of all of that incoming fire. Large cannons on the top. They can submerge as well, but Cheeseberry Control Ks. Apologies for missing it. Oh, and look at that. It almost takes out all of the hit points of that Paragon. Or it does take out all the hit points of that Paragon. That one is the most skillful faction. I'm playing the optimally the end. Do apologize for that kill. He did gate in and try to take out that Paragon, and they did take it out. And so that Paragon's going to be delayed construction, which might give Team 1 enough time to finish the construction of that Scathis. It's about half completed, a little over half completed actually. Again, apologies for missing it. I didn't even catch his upgrades, honestly. I was too focused with everything else going on. So again, I do apologize, but that now leaves the game a 2v2. Well, I believe you all will be able to finish this without me. Cheese is very optimistic about it, and then Protect says lies. There's salt on from Protect still. But some nice little harassment from players isn't the worst thing on the planet. It's if it's super aggressive and mean, that's one thing. But if it's just poking fun and razzing one another, it's not the end of the world. Lots of the bombardment, naval bombardment coming out from all of these battleships preventing any infrastructure from being built on the center causeway position from Terrari. That's gonna be sorry that he lost that main base, but all of these Tempests are just being out DPS by all this incoming fire from these Omens and a couple of these Tempests. The hit points on that Tempest just getting shredded. There's one that's almost destroyed. That one's gonna fall right now. Another incoming barrage from another Tempest. It's inbound. Boom! Kills another Tempest. So Tempest on Tempest action here in the northern pond. And it looks like Team 1 is starting to lose ground here in the naval game on the northern pond. Yeah, I don't have to worry about the southern pond, of course. Looks like there was some T3 Yassaos made it all the way into the back line, taking out a couple of these aircraft carriers. Very good move going in around the edges, but not really going to matter a whole lot when there's just more and more being built all the time. Now there's these 4 Tempests in the middle with all this supporting. Omens would like to see some aircraft move in behind these Omens just to ensure that they deal with the rest of these torpedo bombers. And they're now going to prioritize the Tempest, I think. Looks like Amnesty is saying, give me control of the Gathis. I lost the word for it. Okay, control has been established under Amnesty, and that gun is going to open up at some... Oh, he's going to move it. Oh, he's going to move it. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe they'll build another Scathis there, or they'll build Bug or something else that's a nice little engineering base to just produce anything and everything. Would like some more shields, though, just to ensure that no strat bombers come over and just annihilate it. And I also don't like the fact that the Gathis is on the edge of the shields as well. I would like a couple more built. He does get some T2 point defense up and running just in case any teleporting nonsense happens, because these Aeon comms can't... What is going on here? Some, like, fireworks displays or something? I have no idea. I don't know. What is that about? There's an attack order. I don't know what that's about. Para, again, Butcher making a comment. Terrari, hanging out nearby. It was destroyed pretty much, and they have to rebuild it from scratch. Very disappointing for Team 2, and those shells from those Scathis open fire. Looks like they're targeting the main air grid out from Alta for diminishing the ability for him to build any sort of defense in the air, at least in terms of aircraft. More shells landing all the time. Shields need to be priority number 1 for him. An experimental has been constructed. I don't know what it is. Where is it? Oh, oh, they did the teleport nonsense. Let me get a nice shot of this. I do apologize. They did a teleport nonsense. We have a... no, stop. We have a Colossus chasing down a Scathis. Never really see this in a lot of games. I'm just kind of all over the place this game. I do apologize. But you can look at this. Look at this... Look at this Colossus chasing down that Scathis. That's very disappointing. Getting underneath the shields and just trying to chase it down. Trying to do anything and everything it can along the way. Turn the hit points on so we can see what's going on. That Colossus is almost destroyed, but he does able to kill that Scathis. That is very disappointing for Team 1. Did its job, takes out that second Scathis that was being built, and falls to his death. Some RASCOMs gave their lives, or SACUs at least, gave some lives to build that Colossus. And further sacrifice, they took out a Scathis. I apologize for missing the initial gate in, but at least we were able to watch the Colossus walk down that Scathis. That you hardly ever see that. Ever. Just because if a Colossus is walking towards your base, that Scathis should already be running away. And frankly, usually that happens in all land games for the most part. Some water, naval games as well, but very rare to see that on a SETON'S game as well. Soaking up all that juicy reclaim to funnel back into another Scathis. They need it desperately to take out that Paragon that's being built, and it's about half of its hit points. It's almost 50% completed, so they definitely need to get on it, and especially because now the northern pond is not really looking good for them, and more support needs to be funneled to that northern pond. Maybe have MNSA build some factories on that northern edge up here and just spam out corps, spam out anything and everything they can to halt this attack. All these battleships, all these Tempests, and now they're being used en masse to take out installations for the original main base of Butcher, taking out mass points, taking out P-gens, taking out anything and everything they can get their hands on. Would like to see this Tempest come out of the water and use its cannon, though. Might be distracted doing other things, of course. But, geez, that is definitely a huge blow to Team 1 here in the Northern Pond. It's still a 3... It is a 2v2 with the death of Cheese earlier. And his death was not in vain. He was able to delay the building of the Paragon. So, it's not the end of the world. A lot of those T2 factories for the hover spam have been destroyed. And now T1 Medusa spam is now on the cards for the invasion of Team 2's main landmass. Let's look at the ecos where everybody had a whole lot of chances. Look at that. Team 1 in the lead by about 700 K mass a second, 600, 700. And total mass generated or accrued is very close, considering we're in the 4 million range. About, about 160,000, 150,000 difference. It's less than a Paragon's worth of mass. So, I mean, that's something that's going for Team 2 in terms of catching up to Team 1, but that 2,000 almost generated eco a second definitely in their favor and will make that gap wider bit by bit every single second of this game. But huge amounts of damage going down. That SMD goes down for the middle causeway, and a nuke goes off, and it is being a point defense nuke. Where is it coming from? It's coming from the original base of Cheese that was built a long time ago, I would assume, and that nuke is launched. It's going to go after these Tempests here in the water. It's going to probably just headshot one of them at least. We'll get a nice little viewing of that here right quick. You can see the nuke icon on the mini-map in the northwest corner of the screen. That nuke is going to land. Boom, right on top of that Tempest, taking it out, and another of its brothers along with it. Takes out a couple Omen class as well. But unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be a huge difference in the Navy game, considering the fact that there's just so many units just constantly resupplying that front line of Terrari. In the Scathis, raining down. It has been completed once again. Going to sit under more shield coverage this time, and he's going to put more shield coverage down and more Oblivion turrets. They're not going to have a teleporting Galactic Colossus appear. The shields are down for that Paragon. Where is the incoming fire from that Scathis? It's going to land here pretty quick. Shots hit the ground. Takes out a couple shield emplacements. Shields pop back on that Paragon. The ASF are like, I am out of here. See ya. But unfortunately, the Scathis is a watering can. So it doesn't focus fire like the Maver does. That Maver probably would have killed that Paragon, like in a couple shots. But the Scathis needs a lot more bombardment, a lot more rounds. Takes out a lot of that nearby P-gens. The shields are starting to capitulate, starting to fall around that Paragon. They're trying to prioritize shield regeneration on that T3 heavy shield. Would like to see, getting more of those generators online. What is their play with the Paragon? They now have limitless resources. They need to start spending that mass as fast as they can. More shots inbound from that Scathis. The Navy out from Terrari in the north is pretty much on the beachhead of Butcher. He's also getting some of these anti-air units that don't have any offensive capabilities on the land as well. The land game, again, still not really making a whole lot of progress in terms of Butcher trying to just, push back the front line here on Team 2's landmass. But that Scathis shells raining down all the time. The shield still has not fallen. Paragon has taken a hit or two, but is not dead, of course. If that goes off, that will pretty much be game against Team 2. Looks like there was a RASCOM almost being built in that gateway, but then dies. Looks like Team 2 from Alt F4 has built an experimental somewhere. Oh, it's right here. Built in a couple of these Colossus. I don't know where they're going. Where are they going? They're going into the water. I don't know why. You could be using them to take out land emplacements and factories, but who knows? There is the comm of Butcher in the water in that little pond, very similar to his now mirror. He started off in the middle, and he's moved all the way over here. Same with Ferrari. But look at that. The Navy game for Team 1 here in the northern pond has pretty much capitulated, and shells are raining down into the main base that was once Foley's. Huge spy plane efforts to try to see what's going on, but massive amounts of SMD being spammed up. They're going to take that mass fabricator offline to ensure it doesn't explode. Very good move there. There's only one shield online. A couple of them pop back on, but they're prioritizing only one shield. How are they spending that mass? Are they building another Paragon? No. Oh, they're at 5k mass. What are they building? They're building something. What are they building? They're building Czars. They're building lots of Czars. One of them here, one of them there. So that's going to be very dangerous for the air game against Team 1. Team 1's got to have a lot of SAMs built up. And they have a couple. They need SAMs all day, every day. Just those Czars are very, very expensive when they land on top of you in terms of crash damage. Shield's constantly capitulating, but again, I don't think that primary shield of that Radiance is going to fall anytime soon. PD being spammed up to prevent any teleportation nonsense out from the enemy team of Team 1, in terms of Team 2, of course. Looks like there's a second Scathis. There's two barrages very closely knit together. There's, at least that looked like it was closely knit together. Is there another Scathis somewhere that I don't know about? I don't know. Maybe it just looked like there was two barrages. Oh, no, there's one in the back line. Look at that. So a second Scathis online. A third Scathis also almost completed. There are 3 Scathises almost online for Team 1. And the shield for that Paragon has now been destroyed. There's only a couple T2s protecting it. Come on, Terrari. You got to get those shields back online. You got to notice it. I know it's a lot going on. That T3 shield built back up very quickly. Shells impacting all the time. That brief window looks like a Scathis has targeted the production yards of the Navy. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. There's a secondary Paragon being built. That's a strategy in this game when you're playing Aeon. You build a Paragon. Okay, what happens if that Paragon dies? I'll just build another one. That'll work. So 2 Paragons are going to be online, and then artillery is the name of the game. This is not really looking good for Team 1 here in the north. Lots of, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars being built and more being built all the time. They are going after everything on Team 1's side of the map. All these Scathis. The third one has now been completed. And this game has flopped a bunch of times. A comeback. Excuse me, from a comeback with the departures of multiple players in this game, high-rated players, be it at that, especially from Foley and from Protect. You know, Team 2 losing the Navy just at one fell swoop. Team 1 now has the Navy, the pond on the northern side of the map, and just Scathis fire raining all the time. It will not stop. There's 3 barrages inbound all the time now. 2 of them targeting, I think all of them now targeting the primary or the original Paragon. But just look at that incoming fire, just raining down all the time. And you can see the disadvantage of the Scathis. Constant fire still was not able to penetrate the shield of that Radiance, and now more of them are being built all the time. Biplanes overhead trying to get a good readout on Team 2's base, and a huge amount of T1 bombers. I don't know where they're going. I'm surprised Team 1 hasn't just spammed up strat bombers and gone after that Paragon. I get it. It's 57 minutes in the game. Subcomp brain is a real thing, and you just got a lot of things on your plate. I definitely understand that. DAR is being used now as anti-air weapons to take out any incoming fire. Shells landing all the time. Just look at the devastation on it. Just look at it. Look at all those shots raining down every which way around that Paragon. Paragon. Oh, the shield goes down. The shield collapses. Oh, but Amnesia is killed by all of the rain, all of those Czars in the northeast section of the map. And again, those scouts go down. There's one more left online, but the shield comes back online for that first Paragon, and that is pretty much game. Those Zars look like they are headed towards the main base of Butcher with the Gathis here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Zars over here in this northeastern section of the map. And it looks like the all-Aeon team of Team 2 is about to win this. Those shields are going to capitulate very quickly. We don't speak Russian. I speak with enemy. He's raging about shields. Oh, talking about how those shields would not fall on that Paragon. Just massive damage, and that signals the death end of Butcher. And that means Team 2 wins it. The all-Aeon team wins the game, even with one of their players rage quitting and all of the salt being thrown at each other. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And again, shout out to everyone who helped make this happen. Having everyone subscribe to the channel, reaching 250 plus subscribers. It's just been amazing to see the channel grow. I greatly appreciate it. All the likes, again, the comments, everyone who participating in the voting, greatly appreciate you. And if you want to participate in the voting afterwards, of course, you're more than welcome to, but just the votes won't be tallied, at least in my mind, because I've already produced the milestone video. But don't fret, there will always be another milestone for you guys to vote on. Thank you so very much for all your time, your attention, your eyeballs, everything. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.